Okay, Susan, so let's get rolling. First off, improvements are immense. Super duper proud of you guys. I want to challenge you with these straight lines to drive him deeper into the fence. I want you to go all the way to the fence with the straight lines, stop him with his nose touching the fence. Not over it, but touching it. Straight lines with the circles, drive that circle closer to the fence. Get 6, 8, 10 feet from your fence before you start that circle, and make sure you really follow through with the circle. Complete it. Do 1.5 circles. Don't just fall out at the end because it's a quote unquote circle. Now, super proud here. You trot or you gate over those poles. He falls apart and trots, and you sit deep, pick him up, and he falls right back into that gate. I love that. That's going to help you develop his gait more. Don't do his job for him with the gating. Let him fall apart and pick him up and collect him again. If you have to stop and back and pick him up, that's fine if it's hard. But the more you let him fall apart and then fix him, the stronger he's going to get. If all you do is hold him in that gait and help him, he's never going to try hard. So that was a perfect example of what you should be doing. A lot more of those poles that'll really help him get his endurance and gait better. That was fantastic. Let's see, what are we doing here? Your GoPro wants to be a little blurry today. Again, gating, fantastic. Work for more endurance. You can do your circles, add those poles in as much as you can. Now, little talk about the poles. You tend to hesitate right before the pole and he breaks. Assume, yes, he might break. He could break for a couple poles. He could break for months. He could break however. But don't set him up for the break. I want you to, before that pole, drive him into it. Don't slow down. Sit deeper, pick him up more, put your leg on, drive him. Make him pick himself up. The more you hesitate, like right there, well, that was a little better, but you guys kind of run out of energy right before that pole. Try not to do that. Really look over the pole, look past the pole, and fixate on driving to a certain point. Don't think about the pole. That's just kind of creating that hesitation, and it's kind of creating the habit of falling apart over the poles. So really sit deep, pick him up, drive him a little harder. Make him work over that pole. Even if he speeds up, you just sit deep, pick him up. He'll stay nice and collected. But really work on your hesitation. And try not to, right there, you kind of pushed him hard on top of the pole. Do that before the pole. Try to stay super consistent, but drive over the pole. You can even count strides. You could do 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and the pole is just another 1 or another 2. A lot of things. Just think about keeping yourself consistent. No hesitation. No stopping, slowing down because there's a pole there. So just pick them up, drive over it. Hips are great. The dressage whip has helped immensely. You're sitting nice. You're sitting back. I believe this is where you're thinking about disengaging hips to work towards your lope transition. I want to talk about that a little bit because one of them was kind of backwards. If you're, and I think you were sitting here in the middle of the arena thinking about it, trying to figure it out. Remember your lead starts with the opposite hind. So if you disengage right hind, as you drive that hip around, you're going to drive off to the left because he'll be picking up left lead. So make sure you set yourself up so you kind of lose your focus on where to go. So really think about it. Right there, I would have smacked him. He got super duper lazy on you. So right here, you could use your rail in the beginning. Your camera found you again. So if you're disengaging left hip, you're going to drive off to the right. That was okay. That was okay. But you could use your fence. You could You could even stay, 10, 15 feet off the fence, but if you're traveling down the fence and it's on his left side, disengage his left hip and then drive forward to the right. So really think about which lead you think you're picking up and which direction you're going. One of these was, I think it's going to be this one coming up. Yep, this is going to be the one. So you're going to disengage. Hang on, you give yourself a break, which he's doing super duper good. I think you're going to disengage. What are we doing? So you're kind of thinking about it. This is where you think about it. Whatever lead you want, it's the opposite hind. So going this direction, I would shoot for the left lead because you're going to drive to the left. There's jumps in front of you. So I'd go left. So I would disengage right hip here. And see, I think you're going to disengage left hip, which kind of, the hip thing is great, but when you drive out, it's confusing with the jumps and things. So you should have driven out now. And see, you kind of give it that extra step and then head to the left. You should have headed to the right, if that makes sense. You disengaged left hip, so you should have picked up right lead, driven to the right, and you kind of went forward and went to the left. So again, I know you're not cantering right now, but I want you to start thinking about it and thinking about which direction you're driving that hip. But overall, super duper good, much better, a lot of improvement from last week. Fantastic job, Susan.